Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another installment of the Now Review. And it's yearbook time again. We've got a brand new release in the yearbook series to take a look at, and as you can see, we're going back to the 1970s as we take a look at Now Yearbook 1974. So this is almost the furthest back the yearbook has gone. We've gone to 73 and now we're in 74. The 70s is a decade I do like, but it's not one I'm as familiar with as, say, the 80s or the 90s, but we'll delve into the track list in just a moment. Let's have a look at the cover. As always with the yearbooks, they have like a predominant colour, this one being green, and with the 70s yearbooks, they do this sort of gradient thing. You can see the lines on the front there. So at the top it's the most vibrant green, and then as you can see it progresses further into a darker green the further you go down the cover. Now, I think this works for some of them. I think this one maybe not so much. I mean, I'll hold my hands up. Green is not really one of my favourite colours to begin with, but I think the pinks of the 78 yearbook or the oranges of the 79 yearbook, for example, work a lot better than this one. But you can see the title is the same format they've been following for the 70s yearbooks. They're using that oh-so 70s font that you know you've definitely seen before in various different brands. The year there, of course, and the star sort of replacing the apostrophe, which I must admit is a nice touch and oh-so glam, oh-so 70s. I've got the special edition CD, as I regularly do with the yearbook, so you can see here on the spine. It's a bit thicker, it's a bit more sturdier, it's more like an actual book. I just prefer it being a bit more durable, and the bonus content you get inside, which we'll get into in just a second. But for now, let's flip this on over and take a look at that all-important track list. So on CD1, you have Queen with Killer Queen, one of their earliest hits, and a great one it is too. Paul McCartney and Wings with Jet. Sparks and This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Two of Us. Sweet with Teenage Rampage. Suzi Quatro with Devilgate Drive, one of her biggest and best hits. Mud with Tiger Feet, always gets played at the 70s parties now. Slade with Far Far Away. Pilot with Magic. David Essex with Gonna Make You a Star, great tune. Alvin Stardust with Jealous Mind. The Rubettes with Sugar Baby Love. Bay City Rollers with Shang-a-Lang. Paper Lace with Billy Don't Be a Hero. Leo Sayer with The Show Must Go On. The Wombles with The Wombling Song. You've gotta love The Wombles, man. Carl Douglas with Kung Fu Fighting, of course, one of the most iconic one-hit wonders of all time. Barry White with Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye with You Are Everything. The Stylistics with You Make Me Feel Brand New. The 3 Degrees with When Will I See You Again. And Sweet Sensation with Sad Sweet Dreamer. A lot of good tunes on there, 21 tracks. Let's move on to CD2. We've got Elton John with Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, which became definitely one of his most iconic tracks. John Lennon with Whatever Gets You Through the Night. Bachman Turner Overdrive with You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Golden Earring with Radar Love. Cozy Powell with Dance with the Devil. Electric Light Orchestra with Ma 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 Belle. Faces with Rock Hall Richard. Mike Oldfield with Mike Oldfield's single, the theme from Tubular Bells. Oh, isn't it just called Tubular Bells? Didn't know it was called Mike Oldfield's single. Cher with Dark Lady. Lulu with The Man Who Sold the World. Brian Ferry with The In Crowd. The Arrows with Touch Too Much. Hello with Tell Him. Mud with The Cat Crept In. 10cc with The Wall Street Shuffle. Rod Stewart and Farewell. Slade with Every Day. Andy Kim with Rock Me Gently. Ace with How Long. And the Hollies with The Air That I Breathe. Beautiful track from them. So another 20. So let's now move on to CD3. We have Barry White with the iconic song You're the First, the Last, My Everything. Disco Tex and his Sexolettes, oh dear, what a terrible name, with Get Dancing. George McRae with Rock You Baby. The Hughes Corporation with Rock the Boat. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes feat Teddy Pendergrass with The Love I Lost. Johnny Bristol with Hang On In There Baby. The Drifters with Kissin' in the Back Row of the Movies. Robert Knight with Love on a Mountaintop. The Intruders with Win, Race or Show, She's a Winner. Is it Limmy or Limey? And Family Cooking with A Walking Miracle. Hot Chocolate with Emma. Eddie Holman with Hey There Lonely Girl. The Isley Brothers with Summer Breeze Part 1, lovely track. Aretha Franklin with Until You Come Back to Me, That's What I'm Gonna Do. Ken Booth with Everything I Own. First Class with Beach Baby. The Rubettes with Jukebox Jive. Shawaddy Waddy with Hey Rock and Roll. Wizard with Rock and Roll Winter. Alvin Stardust with You. And T-Rex with Teenage Dream. Another 21 tracks there, so we're on 62. Finally then, CD4, we've got Paul McCartney and Wings yet again with Band on the Run. Elton John with Candle in the Wind, which of course got a very famous re-release in 1997 after the passing of Princess Diana. Olivia Newton-John with I Honestly Love You. Terry Jacks with Seasons in the Sun. Bay City Rollers with Summer Love Sensation. Sweet Dreams and Honey Honey. Stephanie DeSykes with Born with a Smile on My Face. The New Seekers with You Won't Find Another Fool Like Me. Mouth and McNeil with I See a Star, famously from that year's Eurovision representing the Netherlands, I believe. Leo Sayer with Long Tall Glasses. Sparks with Amateur Hour. Cockney Rebel with Mr. Soft. Roxy Music with All I Want Is You. Sweet with The 16s. Droopy with Vada Va. Gigliola Cinquetti with Go Before You Break My Heart, representing Italy at that year's Eurovision. John Denver with Annie's Song. Charlie Rich with The Most Beautiful Girl. Charles Aznavour with She. And Mud with Lonely This Christmas, one of their most iconic songs and still gets played every year. So that is your total track list, 82 tracks across 4 CDs there, and quite an interesting lineup for sure. We'll talk more about the track list in just a moment, but for now, as always, I want to open this up and show you what we've got inside. Now, the discs are housed in these little sleeves here. You can see they're marked with their CD number. And just showing you them briefly, they follow the gradient style similar to the cover. So disc 1 is the brightest of the greens, and as you can see, we go from disc 2, 3 and 4. The colours progressively get darker, with disc 4 definitely being the darkest of green. And I must admit, that darkest shade is the one I quite like the most. Now, the appeal with the special edition CD, of course, as well as a more durable casing, is you get the little booklet inside, something that used to be standard and now is packaged as a deluxe feature. How far we've come, eh? But as always, the opening page tells you about the year 1974, sort of what was going on, what was popping off in the music scene, what was big. And then, of course, you get breakdowns of every single track. You get to know what position they peaked at in the charts, when they peaked in the charts, a bit about the artists themselves, the albums that they came from. Honestly, it's really great stuff. And again, it's such a shame this isn't standard across all Now CDs anymore. I get maybe why they've cut it to cut costs or whatever, but yeah, it's just a shame this once standard feature is something that we now have to pay a bit of a premium for. But aside from that, you get to see the images of all the different singles artworks here, and you also get the quiz. We love the quiz. Test your knowledge on 1974 and what was going on in the music scene. So yeah, as always, really sturdy package, really happy it comes with the booklet. I always enjoy reading through these, even if it's information sometimes that I'm already familiar with. It's fun just to sit back and read through this and learn some new things about the music from that particular year. So in terms of the track list then, what do I think? Well, you're certainly getting your variety. 1974, man, what a good year. What a good year for music. You've got such iconic artists like Queen, Wings, Elton John, like so many big names that you will have definitely heard. And what I love is there's such a range here of what was going on in the music scene. You've got your traditional pop, you've got some glam, you've got some of the more like hard edge stuff that was coming out at the time. Obviously, I'm a big Eurovision fan, so nice to see representatives from the Netherlands and Italy are featured here. Clearly couldn't get that ABBA feature, which is a shame, and Olivia Newton-John represented the UK that year. She's not here with her Eurovision song. They might save that for the extra release of this, I don't know. But the songs I do recognise on here, I don't recognise all of them, but the ones I do recognise are solid. Some great ballads, some great example of glam rock as well. Just really solid year, I think, 1974, definitely. In terms of the price and stuff, this retails for around £15.99, the special edition one, £16. Again, you're mainly paying for the premium of having it in this booklet sort of style, a sturdier case, so if that appeals to you, then go for it. But if not, the standard edition is available for you for around £10. That doesn't have the booklet, has the standard cardboard case, so if that's all you're bothered about, then you can get that for a tenner. But let's move on now and take a look at the vinyl release of Now Yearbook 1974. As you can see, the front cover is always the same, just blown up a bit more, and I do love a blown up vinyl cover. But for me, again, this just highlights the gradient. Doesn't really, again, for me, it doesn't really work with the green here. It's just, I don't know what it is, it's just not as appealing to my eye as the others might have been, perhaps. But let's take a look at the track list. It's always slightly reduced on the vinyl, of course, so we will see what we can get here. So LP1 side A, we've got Killer Queen, Jet, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us, Teenage Rampage, Devilgate Drive, Tiger Feet, All I Want Is You, and Far, Far Away. So 8 tracks on side A. Side B, we've got Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Radar Love, Dance with the Devil, Paul Hall Richard, Mike Oldfield Single. So another 7, which means 15 tracks total on LP1. LP2 side A, we've got Gonna Make You a Star, Magic, Shang-a-Lang, Sugar Baby Love, Jealous Mind, Billy Don't Be a Hero, The Wombling Song, Kung Fu Fighting, and Everything I Own. So 9 tracks there. Side B of LP2 has You're the First, the Last, My Everything, Rock You Baby, Rock the Boat, The Love I Lost, Summer Breeze Part 1, You Are Everything, Until You Come Back to Me, That's What I'm Gonna Do, and You Make Me Feel Brand New. So that is another 8. So 17 tracks there on LP2. So we are up to 32. So now LP3, we have Band on the Run, Candle in the Wind, I Honestly Love You, The Air That I Breathe, Annie's Song, She, When Will I See You Again, and Sad Sweet Dreamer. So 8 tracks there. And then to close off LP3, we've got Side B, Seasons in the Sun, You Won't Find Another Fool Like Me, Born with a Smile on My Face, Man Who Sold the World, The Wall Street Shuffle, Amateur Hour, Mr. Soft, and The Show Must Go On. Another 16 tracks there, which means, dear viewer, we have 48 tracks present on vinyl. So a few over half there. Yeah, more than 50% of the tracks make their way to the vinyl release here. As I always say with the vinyl track list, it really depends on what your preference is as a listener. If the tracks you like the most are featured here, then go for it. Or if you're not really a fan of this sort of stuff that's been featured, maybe give it a miss. Just to show you the discs very quick. Now, here is an example of one of the discs. It's sort of an odd shade of green. I'm not sure what you'd call that. Fans have always complained that these are misleading because when you look on the promotional images on various websites, you can see that the discs are presented to be in a very vibrant green, almost as vibrant as the cover, which on these promotional images looks gorgeous. But then when you translate it to this, it is nowhere near as vibrant, and a lot of the coloured vinyl discs now have put out have suffered from this. I believe they have started putting actual disclaimers either on their website or various websites saying, please note, you know, the colour of the vinyl may vary from what you see here, but to vary so differently. I mean, look at this, and then look at this. So if the colour of vinyl is something that really matters to you, please keep in mind it comes out like this rather than that more vibrant shade. And these do retail, of course, for a bit more. They are a bit more expensive. I think they've gone up again, haven't they? At £35 now, which they're inching it further. They started around 30, they bumped it to 33, and I know, you know, everything's going up in cost, but it is something to bear in mind. £35 for 3 LPs, you know, so it's still sort of £11, £12-ish per LP, but it's just something to bear in mind. I think most people will stick with the CD versions. So on the whole then, how does Now Yearbook 1974 stack up? Well, again, for me, I really do like the track list on here. For someone who's not as big into the 70s, there's a lot of stuff that I can definitely get into and listen to. For yourself, obviously, it depends on what your tastes are, but I think in terms of just the 70s yearbooks, this might be potentially my new favourite one, or it's certainly up there. I don't think it trumps any of the 80s ones, but again, that's just my own personal musical taste. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please remember to leave a like on the video. It does really help us out. And subscribe to the channel as well. We'd love to have you aboard here with us. And let me know in the comments, are you going to be picking up Now Yearbook 1974? Are you going to get the CD, the deluxe CD, or the vinyl? Or are you going to pass entirely? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. And in the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for another spin on the turntable.